Okay, we have a quorum, so we can begin. All right, thank you everyone for being here tonight. And one thing, besides going over the art fair and Celebrate Wildwood, we're looking for input too on what you thought was good, bad, or indifferent about Celebrate Wildwood. So with that, okay, they left me this gavel. There we go. Meeting is called to order. Okay, you want to do the roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Helfrey. Here. Commissioner Bishop, Commissioner Offrecht, Commissioner Tripp.
Here.
Mr. Lawson. Here. Mr. Ward, Chair Siebert.
Here.
Council Liaison Garitano.
Here.
Staff Liaison Cruz.
Here.
Okay. The minutes, are there any public comments? Nope. Okay, don't see any. All right, let's, approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second? Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions or objections? No? Okay, they're taken care of.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about a recap of Celebrate Wildwood for 2019. All right. I'll start off. The golf, as I mentioned earlier, golf carts were great. They were terrific. I think everybody really enjoyed them. I know we did. It was great riding in them. We'll decorate better next year.
It was,
Yes.
it was particularly great how well you could interact with the people on the street and the girls behind us. It was really less of a barrier to interact with everyone. Where if you're in a car with gasoline and super dangerous, people stay away. So I thought the golf carts were terrific to make it more a community event than a, there they go, let's stay clear, children stay close kind of event. We need to have candy though next time. We need to have
Right.
candy.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay, Vicki, yeah.
Well, first of all, I would like to say what a great job that you all at the city did for this, because I do realize that you do so much work for this, and I just wanted to tell you that it was fantastic. And I don't know that we can praise you enough for what all you've done.
I agree.
So thank you for that. And then I as far as the golf carts go, I'm just curious, was there any feedback from the city council members, the mayor, or people at large?
I asked Mr. Mayor. He loved it.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
not that I think, I know, all the feedback was positive.
Excellent.
Yeah, they liked it. They liked the interaction, the candy.
And thank you for sharing your crepe paper with us.
Yeah. So I think next year will be more competitive when it comes to
Yeah.
decorating golf courses. So,
Yep, it's on.
yeah, they did like it, so I don't see any reason at all that we'd want to change that next year.
I did talk to almost every vendor, I think, and asked them, what they thought. First of all, they thanked us for the weather. I mean, couldn't have asked better weather. All those prayers helped.
And the rain even held off
Yes.
till
it
just
did.
after the fireworks.
That's right. And most of the vendors had no complaints. They thought, they did well, they were able to set up, everything was good. So that's a positive.
Being a vendor on the craft side, load-in went really well. Everyone was very nice, very helpful. The event itself went really well. And then the load out sounded like it was going to go well, but then as you would drive through to load in your items, the ones in the back were getting pushed by the officer that was there when we had nowhere else to go because we were waiting for the other cars in front of us. It didn't seem to last more than 2 minutes per vendor, so it didn't seem to make a difference. Overall, I think the load out went well. I think it could have just been a little nicer.
More polite.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rather than, you need to hurry up. Just load it and go.
Who was,
Well,
sorry to interrupt, but where were you getting the pressure from?
The officer.
Oh, really?
There was another 2 cars behind us waiting to pull in, but we had at least 2 vehicles in front of ours at other vendors that were loading as well. So at that point, there's really nothing else anybody could have done. It's just a little side note.
So it's just a narrow width, wouldn't allow,
If someone doesn't pull very close to the booth on the right and this person pulls all the way to the left, you can fit 2 rows through.
yeah.
You can't really control anyone's driving. So ideally you could have had 2 rows, but even if you've got someone loading on the right all the way down and someone loading on the left, the people that can move first are the ones at the very end.
Let me offer, so I understand
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. And what that takes is somebody to be there in the aisle, directing the cars, making sure that they're pulled over to the
Well,
side.
she was
In
trying
defense
to
of
do
everybody
that,
there
yeah.
on that evening, in the morning, it was a lot smoother
Yeah,
because we have
because everyone's
time.
coming and going at different times.
Right, but in the evening time, everybody just wants to get
Yep.
out of there. And that
So
kind of
maybe
screws
if we
things
had
up, right?
scheduled load out times, I know that becomes difficult because a lot of vendors left early, other ones like, well, we'll just stick around and wait, which didn't become a problem. I think everyone kind of just spaced themselves out.
We do that for the Art Fest.
Yeah, it's just tough with the limited space.
Yeah.
And like Gary said, everybody's leaving at once, so
Yeah.
that's what
I
creates. the
did like
difficulty.
how the officer came through, told each booth, this is the process, this is what we're doing. So we all knew what to expect, we knew how to be prepared for it. So I thought that was very good.
This is all good information. We're taking it down for next year so we can think ahead.
Yeah, we can work on that. We can work on that and try to make that a little bit better, but I can almost guarantee you that the move out on every event we have is
Yeah.
gonna be confusing because people just wanna leave.
Yeah, it was quick though. I mean,
It was.
I was stepped away and all of a sudden I come back and everybody's gone.
Yeah, everyone was packed up, and you could tell we're all standing there with our booth items all packed up, ready to go, so that when your vehicle pulls up, you just load it and go. Some people just have a few more items, and if you get stuck behind it, you gotta wait. But, someone behind me honking my horn isn't gonna move the person in front of me.
Right.
Even city staff had trouble with some of the vendors that they just hung around long after the breakdown period. They were
Mhm.
still there, so.
Okay. Everything okay with the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, yeah, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate all, the help you all gave with that.
I'd be interested in some feedback because that, to me, looked like that was the best year you guys ever had.
Oh, it is.
Mhm.
It was because of there's real good attendance overall. But
Yeah.
yeah, we had a lot of participation going on back there. Yeah, yeah. And the STEM lab we had there got a lot of use. They were making, the people that were there were able to make things with the 3D printer, and that got a lot of use. Looked like the reenactors. What'd you think of the reenactors?
I loved them. That was what was on my mind, was to tell you that I loved them. In fact, I talked to one for 15, 20 minutes or so, and then I had to go and get my dinner, which was being prepared, and then when I came back, they were packing up. But I talked to one of the ladies, and I was very impressed with her in-depth understanding of the politics at the time of the Civil War. So I thought it was terrific.
Yeah, I like it. I thought they were well-dressed, and I saw them walking around, and, I would hope that other people felt the same way, that it was cool to see these folks.
Yeah.
I can tell you that my second contact, the woman, she said that they did feel like it was they were a bit, I don't know, she didn't use the word upstaged, but that's kind of what she was driving at. They they were just kind of stuck on, as the art show often felt like they were the entertainment, and it made me feel like there was too much distraction, so they didn't get to do their thing that much. They didn't get to talk to people that much. There was so much going on.
Yeah, let me come back to that. Any other comments or
I thought it was
about
great.
They normally don't do an event like that.
Mm-hmm.
They did it because of the Scouts, and it was new for them.
Mm-hmm.
They came away feeling, the vast majority of them, they loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And it got them thinking about, maybe we should do this stuff like this, but it is different. I think that's where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Usually they're the reason everybody's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
They're not part of the group, they are the group. And, yeah, I thought that I thought I saw that too. Nobody
Yeah.
told me that, but I thought I saw that too. Is it something you'd want to consider for next year?
Oh, I loved
Yeah.
it.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll talk to them. I think, just from talking with them all, there could be more next year. I think they didn't have everybody they were originally going to have, because they normally don't do something like this. And they came away saying, most of them said the opposite of what you were hearing, though they said they liked it. They liked
Yeah.
the environment. They were so impressed with the tent and the fan, even though they didn't use the fan, that you would do that for them. And I think we could get them back next year, and probably with more people. And now that they've seen it, they'll probably be able to come back and with something more appropriate for the event.
So maybe like next year's, we can have something on the program that says 2 p.m. battle scene reenactment or
Yes.
something.
They, you know, I've been talking to the guy since January, right? The Tuesday before the event, he says, "Can we shoot guns?" I go, "Stan, we've been talking about this since January. You now bring up guns?" So, talked to Garrett and got the okay, and they were going to do a little gun, but the horses.
Oh,
yeah.
So if we do that next year, we'll have to figure out,
Good to know.
because I even went and talked to the lady with the horses then, because they were apprehensive. So I went and talked to her and said, so I said, well, you know, what if they were way over there? And she said, that's still kind of close.
Yeah.
So that'd be the only thing that would stop that.
Right.
Okay, is the horses, or we stop the horses, you know, although I think she's just worried about them being giddy, whether somebody was on them or not. So that'd be the only thing we'd have to figure out what to do. The horses stopped that this year.
Or even if they have like a skit or something like this.
Yeah.
I remember I visited when I was in Virginia. You went around October. You had like a little village set up, and they kind of walked through these skits, and they're like talking about while they're in the middle of the war. This was in Richmond, Virginia, so it just fits, you know, that Civil War history. I wonder if maybe that's
Maybe.
something without having to use guns.
You know what might be a good idea? In the parade, have a golf cart, a big one, done up with crepe paper or something like a covered wagon, and have the reenactors in the parade. If,
It's another idea if they're around.
I mean, that would draw the interest, and, you know, maybe on the side, put what time their reenactment is for all the people on the parade route, too.
Mhm.
That might be good.
Yeah, I think it was brought up to include them in the parade, and it was discussed that maybe they wouldn't want to be in the parade because it would be too hot
Well, they
in all of their
didn't.
clothes.
They did not want to be in this parade because of that.
Yeah.
No, I offered them to be, and they didn't want to be in it.
Yeah.
Now, the golf course would change that, of
Turns
course.
out
but,
they could
yeah.
have this year, but we can't count on that.
But I
Oh,
think
even
the
with that
golf
weather,
cart-
they would have gotten pretty warm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so, but the golf court might be the answer for next year.
I
Okay.
think that would be a good idea.
Or do you think it's maybe a thought to have the reenactors come for the art festival in October when it's a little cooler for them? I don't know. What is that? Or it just
It
doesn't
doesn't really
fit?
seem to
No, I
fit.
think that's,
Doesn't
I
fit?
think we would like it, but it doesn't really do anything to enhance the art show.
Got it.
I don't think it benefits the art show, it's a separate thing.
Yeah.
I think for the Celebrate Wildwood, it fits much better, even though it's hot.
especially next year, it's gonna be our 25th.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be something really exciting,
Right.
you know. I know the book that was given out, people were thrilled with it, and I said, well, next year we'll have the big 25th anniversary of this. And they said, well, this is gonna be hard to top, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
the
know.
book is phenomenal. It's, who do we thank for the book? Is it the city of Wildwood, or who do we thank for this?
The
'Cause it's
Historical
fantastic.
Society?
Yeah, they're the ones that are contracted, right? Or a certain person from there.
It's the city's Historic Preservation Commission. So then through the city contracts with the Wildwood Historical Society, and a member of the society is the author of the chapter. But staff has written some of the chapters of the timeline. It's a real collaboration between the Preservation Commission, the society, and the city. But the city funds the project.
Phenomenal. My husband and I are going to go and visit them on a Monday, because they're right down the street from us a little bit, and we're going to check it out.
The supervisor at the museum on Mondays is the author of the book. So.
Okay, well, we'll have to thank her.
So, yeah, I guess let me throw in my review. I think best one so far.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Best crowd, best weather. I mean, we had everything. It was just perfect.
It was almost like a perfect storm. I don't know, because the weather was so good and.
It really was.
Yeah.
And even at the end of the fireworks, it rained not 1 minute before the last pop, and then as soon as the last pop
Right.
went off, it started raining. Because a couple of them looked like they went off too low. Really, right?
Yeah.
And so it was great. Perfect.
Right.
It was
And
the perfect
the
storm.
music, Fat Pockets, let me tell you, they were terrific. They did such a good job.
Yeah.
I would like to make some comments about the music. It was too loud. It was too loud. I saw children doing this, and I saw people who had gotten some nice, I can see the stage really well, and I can see the dancers really well, packing up and leaving. So it was painful to me. I had my family bring ear protection for me, and we still moved back. So there really was no need for it to be that loud, and I think that everybody can enjoy it just fine, but it's too loud. So the sound guys need to
Maybe one
dial
or
it
two
back.
less amps.
Well, they had a team there working sound, so they could be encouraged to drop it back a little bit.
Couple.
So that's my comment about the music. Fat Pocket was fabulous. They can't tell what their sound is. It's all reliant upon the guys out in the sound booth. The Fat Pocket was great. And I would like to find out how we invited the kids to decorate their bikes, because I never saw anything about an invitation for the kids to decorate their bikes. And the Girl Scouts looked to me like the girls behind us were riding bikes and stuff, and I thought that was like terrific. People still ride their bikes. So I think they're out there, but my husband said to me, he said, so where do they advertise this? And I'm like, well, I don't know.
The newsletter. I had it in there for months on end, actually.
Is it buried in amongst a bunch of words?
Well, it's buried in amongst all the things about Celebrate Wildwood,
Mm-hmm.
but we can provide it to them. I don't know how you make them read it.
Yeah.
Well, there's all kinds of ways of getting people to read stuff, because I send out stuff all the time that doesn't get read, because, if you put it in with a whole bunch of words, people will read the top 10% and they're like, okay, I don't have time for this, I'll get back to it later, and then they don't. So if we made it targeted with a one image or one call to action for an email or something, then we might be able to get people to notice it and think about the fact that it might be fun. If it's buried in a whole bunch of information that's all good, we lose our audience.
Maybe in the Gazette, we can have a special ad or
Yeah.
something,
Mhm.
a picture
Mhm.
of Celebrate Wildwood, decorate your bikes,
Right in the parade.
ride in the parade,
Yeah.
right? Something like that, but something like a standalone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and the parents will see this, they'll read it. Kids won't read a long document with a bunch of information. The kids, the parents will say, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, man. You know, and move on. And the kids don't even know. So I think we could do a better job on making it, the information, putting it out to scout leaders or somebody who can make it, who can allow the kids or help the kids do it. So.
I guess I'll ask all of you, did you all talk to anybody in your subdivisions about participating?
I have no subdivision, so.
I did.
I didn't direct the question only to you, ma'am.
I know, I'm just saying, I myself don't have a subdivision.
Well,
I did, but you
We
know.
I think-
not.
I think bikes, you don't see too many in our neighborhood. I don't, down by
Oh,
me.
yes,
They do the
there's
scooters.
a whole group
down
up
by
the
me.
block, and there are some new families that have moved in, and these kids, there is even a 2-year-old on
Oh.
this tiny little bike, and there are about 6 or 7 of them, and, I mean, I think it's great. We haven't seen that in a long time.
But
So some of the other
Well-
people have kind of moved out, and some of the new families that have moved in were thrilled, and the kids are on their bikes, so,
Well, I think of it as a parent, if I'm gonna take my kids down the street, or some of them drive, and they'll park by Manchester Road, you see a couple of cars parked over there, like in the subdivision. You're either gonna be a spectator, or you're gonna be a participant. And if I'm going there with the kids get to ride their bike, but I feel like then I gotta walk behind them. And the kids are gonna be going ahead of me because they're gonna be riding their bikes. So I don't know if we might wanna rethink that idea of the bikes. And either invite them, and we've done this already. We've sent out, enter to be in the parade and, enter your subdivision, represented. But, I don't think we really get any response from that.
We don't. We've struggled with the parade, and we have done, in the last 4 years, all kinds of different marketing and call to actions and everything else. We've emailed subdivision trustees directly, specifically just about the parade, so it's not buried in a bunch of information. We've thrown the gauntlet down for neighborhood contests, team contests, all kinds of things. We've done it on social media with graphics and brief amounts of text. We've done it on Twitter, so it's only 280 characters. It's not getting lost in the words. We don't get participation in our parade from random residents. We get business participation, and we get, some organizations. But whatever the catch is to get kids on bikes and scooters, neighborhoods, sports teams, we haven't figured it out. And we have marketed in every other way that we market everything for this event before, and
we
they don't
might
come.
just,
They don't come.
we might just
I think they just
sit
want to
here and
watch.
be happy that they're coming,
Right.
and with their chairs, their parents and everything else, and watching it.
I mean, we can make it, if you want to pump up in 2020 a lot of resident participation in the parade, we can make it a focus, and we can go at it hard, but, I mean, we've put out hundreds of things and none. So
So last
is that
year-
where we want to put our efforts for the return? I don't know.
I will tell you that last year, we have 130 houses in our neighborhood, and I sent out a letter specifically with the contest stuff, and I got nothing.
I
got
just put
nothing,
out an
so.
email to my subdivision, we're doing a movie night. I got one person who responded with a
Yeah.
title of a movie. I think
Yeah, you just
people are,
can't. Just out of curiosity, and I don't know that you can reach more people than you reach, quite honestly, but out of curiosity, because next year is the 25th anniversary, and we have so many grade schools here, would it be appropriate to send something out to the schools and ask the schools to, if they would have a float? Because we have so many
Yeah,
schools.
The
and-
hard part is, it's
the
right when
summer?
school starts. So we literally have to, and we can contact them in the spring, and that's what we have to do with the band. We literally order the t-shirts for the band like week, almost the week of the event. We can't even get shirt sizes when they've been in school. There's so much at the startup of school. So I think we would just have to really plan ahead, but, you know, they don't.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't know if like the
They don't-
superintendent of schools.
Kathy, won't
or
next year be
principals-
even worse because the school starts later?
Right, yeah.
It-
So we'll
will
have
school
even
be
less
in?
time at the beginning.
School
of
won't even
school.
have started yet, will it?
If it
barely.
started, it'll be just that week.
It'll be that week.
Yeah.
I
So-
just don't know how you, people are on vacations and,
But you know what, when you look at the length of the route, it's packed. When you get to Taylor Road, it is packed with people up Taylor Road all the way to Main Street. I mean, I took a picture and had the crowd yell, both sides were there. And so, and then when you're looking at Manchester, it's those clusters. You got the cluster by the villages,
yeah.
you got the cluster by the meadows, and you got a cluster by the enclaves, where the neighborhoods are. So, personally, I think it's a good turnout. I mean, especially Main Street. I mean, just love seeing that view of just people
There
on
were
both
chairs
sides.
out on Manchester, and at 8:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
people brought their chairs, left them, and then I guess went off to have breakfast somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think if we wanted school involvement in something, we would probably have to start in the spring. And we even discussed, you know, we've targeted and we've made the appeal to, but for whatever reason it hasn't caught on. But like, what about, you know, we have so many sports teams, and we have teams that have won in their particular sport at a regional and a national level, and, you know, it's like promote yourself almost, or your club organization, or your high school team that won state and stuff, and the interest is there. So whether we need to promote prizes
I
more.
think it's because it's at the end of the summer and people are doing their last big hurrahs and they just don't want to commit to something. I mean, that's what I think. I could be completely
Or-
wrong.
Or you offer a golf cart and they decorate it. And, you know, as long as you get a responsible adult to drive it, maybe you do something like that. But it's like, you can't expect them to do it all on their
Or
own.
Have the kids in each of the wards decorate the golf cart.
That's an option. No, it's something.
You know, Ward 1, let whoever wants to decorate the golf cart and come up with an idea and, you know, have a
I just don't
sign.
think you'll get response. 'Cause
We may not, but it's just an idea.
I think it balances out, because the parade, and then when, this year, more than probably all the years I've seen, the area with the bounce houses, packed, because the weather was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People weren't getting too hot and leaving early. So that area, I mean, it was a surprise for like 10:30, 11 o'clock to see that many people right over there. I mean, I think they get the idea already. They know there's the big slide where you bring a bathing suit and come down. And I mean, that's, to me, it was a hit. In fact, you probably didn't, you may notice, all the food vendors ran out of food by about 8:30.
I did notice that.
There was one guy, it was the guy, the
Shish kebab.
the shish kebab guy, was the only one left,
Yeah.
I think, with food. And he probably sold out, made a fortune. But everybody, because the weather was perfect.
But I think, if I can jump in on
Yeah.
that, an idea I'd like to throw out to the group, I think, remember a couple of years ago was really good weather? I think we've had 2 years in a row that show us, if we want a crowd, we need to maybe think about changing when we have this event. Because
We did,
if
we
we,
talked
if we,
about
I
it.
know we did.
We
I know
did.
you all did. I'm just throwing it back out again. Next year, it's gonna be hot again. You know that, okay? We'll just be lucky if it's not.
Right.
The crowd, I think, showed us there's 2 years now. that If we do it when it's a little cooler,
Mhm.
we get a lot more people there than doing it when it's 95 degrees out.
And there were some vendors
So-
who did not show because last year was hot,
Right.
very hot, and they.
Just
I
throwing
know
that back
too,
out to
they
the
just
group.
said they're not coming back.
Do we look at it again of changing it to later in September or something? If we want to have
I think.
a consistently good crowd every year.
Well, I think some of the other cities, you start to then compete compete with other cities that have their same
I know, we want-
events. Eureka has theirs coming up, and I think Ballin of Manchester.
No, Baldwin's is this spring.
Oh, is it? Manchester?
Yeah.
I think theirs
Manchester.
is theirs is about now too.
But I wonder, do we really get that many people from other towns?
No, I mean, I don't,
That's my thought, where it would conflict.
yeah, it's a good
Eureka
point.
Day,
Yeah,
right?
if
Just
there would be a
because
conflict.
I think since the south half of the city goes to the Eureka schools, I think that may be some conflict. I don't think Manchester homecoming,
Yeah.
I don't think they or us would pull that much from.
But we would go, because we have nothing going on that weekend, we'll go to Manchester,
Mhm.
because the kids want to go on the rides. You know, so that's what I'm thinking, there might be some on those other cities who are like, hey, let's go down. Yeah, there were some people.
Mhm.
In fact, let me give you my full debrief on this. Golf carts are great. Getting the golf carts from City Hall to the parade staging area, I would suggest maybe we either have a police escort or close the road. I mean, these people were driving right by me on Manchester and could care less about the golf cart being right there. They were just going around, so that's something to keep in mind for next year. You know, the Manchester Road speeding is a different topic. But I think we covered already the let's see, parade. The horses that are on the parade, they didn't clean up after them in some spots along the parade route, because I noticed that when we were coming back, you know, going through with the parade
Right.
route.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's who is that,
They had a little cleanup crew.
I think the cleanup guy skipped a few spots. So it impacted, because nobody would be around that area. And that would be, just feedback, if we can ask them to be careful about picking up after that stuff. The day of the event going on throughout the day, I already mentioned, was great. Music, we did have one person come to a meeting, spoke about music being loud. They live nearby, over in
Near Acres.
near Acres,
They complained about the fireworks.
or the firework, well, music too. I got called during the concert from them, and I told them, I said, hang tight, another 15 minutes, because I was looking at it, would be ending, and there would be fireworks.
It's one night a year, and
So-
I understand, but it's
Well,
one festival.
And that's right, I mean, when you look at it, population-wise, somebody's gonna always say something.
Yeah.
But that came up in one of the last council meeting, so just want to bring that up, not to, ignore that topic there.
So my only, a concern, if we have great weather next year, which would be fantastic, all the stars align and we have great weather, and they are building this new complex, so we can't have it there. There were like 5,000 people, I think, maybe I'm wrong, out there. Will the new area be able to have that many people?
I asked Joe that question. Joe, the new area is 3 times larger than the space we were in for this event. We currently
Really?
occupy 2 acres. The new area is 6 acres.
Okay,
So
all
I
right,
think that is,
fine. Put that concern to bed, thank you.
the only thing with that new area is how do we find a good way for people to access it? And maybe by next year, maybe we can get a little further into that road over there or something. I don't know. Got time now to figure it out.
Anything else on Celebrate Wildwood? Joe, Kathy, Gary, anything?
I have kind of a less than major question. So the council representatives got 2-seaters for their golf carts. We got you all 4-seaters. Is that okay? Would you prefer two-seaters?
I suggest you get a sixth one because I was an Uber driver that day and I loved it. I talked to everybody going from the parking lot to the event. And there were people who were from outside of Wildwood. There were people who had never been here before. It was amazing to hear, why they were coming. A lot of them were coming for the concert. So I bring them right to the front by the stage. I said, there you go, you get your spot right in the front. And it was amazing. So if I had a vote, get the 6 because then we could put those extra seats to use.
I thought the 4-seater, that served us. And if we had had 2, more commission people were there, right?
I thought it was fun, whatever works. I just had fun driving, so whatever.
You weren't on the back. Should we ask the people on the back if
Hey,
they
well,
want?
hey, that's not my
learned more than
time.
I can
I
do
called
next
driving
year.
first. I don't know what to
She
say.
did.
Well, that's another reason you want to get the 6 because then you can have another row that faces front. You don't have to have somebody.
I feel I need to
back.
defend myself right now. It was not my driving.
You were great.
Road surface?
No, it was the gas pedal, you know what I mean? You kind of go, stop laughing at me. And I had to be careful because there were Girl Scouts buzzing around, and that was all I didn't want to hit one of them. That's all I could hear. And then she ran over and came with the golf cart. I need that.
Oh, I loved it. In the parade, whenever it backed up, I just started going circles in the street, I loved it, just,
It was a blast.
yeah.
And you're right, you're accessible to everybody. So whatever, you need to make it work. I think it's great.
How is our marshal? I never got to see him, I guess because he was all the way in the front.
I talked to his son, after the parade, and he was still raring to go, but the home wanted him back at Stonegate. So we just took him
I
back.
took him the wrong place.
Yeah.
Well, the place.
Good.
Yeah, he seemed to really enjoy it, but again, the temperature was perfect for him.
Yeah, I couldn't see because where I was, I'm hoping that he was enjoying it and, people also get to enjoy him and it.
His son had sent us some pictures, so we did some social media promo on him, before, like the day before, just telling people, come say thank you and stuff about, it turned out really cute, I thought.
Good.
So Madam Chair, what I've heard is the loadout needs to be investigated for next year. Reenactors, trying to give them a little more space so that they're not kind of upstaged, so to speak, by just proximity to the bounce houses, et cetera. The music, the volume of the music needs to be addressed. And then getting the police down to lead the golf carts to the start of the parade. And that's probably my fault. We had, there was only a couple of volunteers down to help with the parade, including myself. So I called Sergeant Windling to see if he could come down and add some assistance. And so he buzzed down there for a quick bit, and then I think he caught back up with all of the.
Yeah, when I got back up here, everybody was gone. So,
Oh.
yeah.
So my apologies.
You left without me.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I just thought
Ditches for police.
it was kind of close at some point. There were some cars that, in the golf carts were going, in that little bike lane there, so.
We'll make sure we take care of that next year. So.
Yeah, that's just, again, observation.
Well, it was my first parade I've ever been in, and I had a blast, so thanks.
So the only unanswered question that was posed by Ken is, do you all want to put on the October agenda a discussion about the date change? We can certainly investigate other locations, or other cities or other organizations that have major events in that sequence of late August through September. Part of the reason we kind of ended up where we are is because in about 3 weeks we have the barbecue bash, which taxes the police department more so than any other entity in City Hall.
Well, wasn't one of the reasons that we held it in late October because that was when the original,
In late August.
in late August,
Yeah.
right? That was the original one and people wanted to stay more with tradition rather than moving.
Well, we did look into it. Joe looked into it and found there were all these reasons why, like the band will be off doing competitions or something, and there's
Yeah.
football, and there's all this other stuff that starts happening such that it was like, okay, all right, we'll keep it on the same day.
And that's a good point. The Lafayette High School band can't commit. This is, according to the leader, this is probably the only weekend where they can guarantee they can participate in the parade.
Yeah, I thought that was a big deal, was
Yeah.
trying to get them.
Yeah.
And even though, Manchester City might not be a big draw for people out here, there are other things that we were trying to not compete with. Because you looked up all those dates, I believe it was 2 years ago, right? And tried to
Yeah,
figure out
we
if you could
did.
find a better, and there, Taste of St. Louis and Queenie Parks aren't there, but there was all these things that we,
But I guess we could look at it again, because it's not a good idea to just summarily say, no, we already did that.
We'll put a calendar together so you can kind of see what September holds in terms of large events around the Wildwood area. And we can at least talk it through. Memory serves me well, and it doesn't generally. I remember our first Wildwood days was in the latter part of September.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was always in September because of the incorporation date, but I think you're right, I think it was later.
All right.
right within the barbecue bash.
Yeah.
So,
We didn't have the barbecue bash then.
We give priority.
You didn't have
to
a parade then either, did you?
No, not down in Battler State
Right.
Park.
Right.
But,
Well, that's when it was maybe a babbler. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
So,
I was there. I was an artist there. You probably remember me.
we had the big tent for all of you, didn't we?
When I had my own tent.
Home tent? Okay.
Okay. If there's nothing else, do you want to move on to the art festival
Yeah,
coming up?
just thanks to all of you.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
we are being commended for our hard work on the thing.
No,
I'm
and
like,
it's
no,
you.
no. It's you guys.
It's you.
You guys are it.
Thank you. Gary, you want to update them on the commitments we have?
I went around and made some corrections in all your stuff except for the artists. We have committed, and right now, we have 44 artists that have confirmed being at the Celebrate Wild, or the Art Festival. We have 12 that are on the accepted list, and we have 10 that haven't responded yet. So we still have the potential before September 9th of having 66 artists at the festival.
Question. Who was the juror or jurors?
Jean
Jean did
Bowl,
it
okay.
again? Okay.
Yeah, and let me tell you a little bit about that, how she made the decision. She did call me and she asked, she goes, how strict do we want to be with this jurying? Because she goes, you have a good selection of artists. He goes, but you have some that are on the line, on the borderline, and we could eliminate them. She goes, but if you have room for them, she goes, then I would suggest letting them in. So the only one that we really eliminated was the one that we knew was a commercial person bringing stuff in just to sell.
Mhm.
So that's the reason we didn't have more eliminated. We certainly could have done that, because I know we do want to develop a better quality art show. But at her suggestion, she says, they're not bad, they're just on the borderline. And she goes, if you have the room, I would consider allowing them. So that's what we did.
Mhm.
So I hope that was okay.
I get that. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. As time goes on and we have more applicants, then we can, and
Sure.
then that will happen.
Sure. So we have the potential of having 66 artist possibilities so
The deadline for the application to make the formal commitment and pay,
September 9th.
so Monday.
Right.
So,
And we'll send out one more reminder email to those that have accepted and not confirmed. And I'll send another email to the 10 that have not answered the invitation. And we'll see what we get.
Yeah, they might be waiting to find out about another show.
Sure, sure.
And what about food vendors on this?
Food vendors, what we decided to do is be a little selective rather than open it up for everybody that applied in. And we have lots of interest in it, but we do have Noto Pizza committed, Table for Five is committed, Milk and Honey is committed, Duddy Sisters is committed, Super Smokers has committed, Small Batch Winery will be back, and Puff Cakes. And I hope everybody got a chance to try the Puff Cakes.
Puff cakes, yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. They were great.
I just had them someplace else. What was I
Farmers
that I
market.
just? Huh?
Yeah, she has
Oh,
one.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and they've committed. So we have a couple more that we're waiting to hear from, but
Benedetto's?
we sent it, we asked them, and I haven't heard back from Rob yet, so.
Okay.
They did really, they didn't
They
even
did
apply for,
well.
they didn't even apply for Celebrate Wildwood, they just called the last minute and said, hey, can we get you in? And of course, we couldn't get him in, but we popped up a tent farm in front of their store, and he did rather well.
Because they're delicious, that's why.
Yeah.
Toasted raviolis and wine, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
where
he had
we
his
ate.
restaurant open, he had the tent out front, and then a couple of the vendors went over and bought product from him because they ran out. He had a good day. He had a really good
Really
day.
good day, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
He was patting me on the back a lot, and had nothing to do with it, so
That's funny.
I'm glad it went well.
Yeah, I also think it's funny, some of our vendors, like sometimes Deerberg's, the complex over there complains because of the parking that we take up and stuff for their event, but like for example, the hot dog guy, he ran out of hot dogs too. He went over to Deerberg's and bought every hot dog they had, it didn't matter what kind, he bought every hot dog that they had, and sold out. He sold them all at the store, so I mean, they did well. I'm
Oh,
right.
that's
So
good.
Deerberg's maybe won't complain again.
But you know what, they complain a lot, but like in the barbecue batch when it was here, their meat shelves were sold out constantly because all the vendors would go over and buy out all their meat and sell them here at the barbecue bash, so.
That's good.
Yeah, I think when the pizza sold out, they said they had twice as much as last year, and they sold out
Yeah.
early.
Well, I ate twice as much as last year, if that helps. I
The pizza
did
was
my
so
part.
The tamale
It was
man,
in line and
I have.
two places where she says, I bought it.
Took them home. They cook really well in the Instant Pot.
oh yeah, the tamale man ran out of tamales and he went and got 50 more pounds. Toward the end of the evening, he sold out of those too, so.
Yeah.
Contact
So
Planning
and then we
Association,
went
they
over to
had
Benedetto's
more
and
beer
that was
cakes
good.
than last year. They had to go down to the ballpark and confiscate some of the beer cakes from their concession stand.
And that night, they said, we have a pitcher left. I think that was about their dry. That's what I wanted to do, was like celebrate Wildwood by the numbers. Like the Super Smokers guy went through 13 pork butts by lunch. And he had 16 for the whole day.
You know what, that would be something really good, like trivia.
Yeah. Like y'all drank 10 cakes of beer, you ate 16 pork butts. You know?
Hope you had a good time.
That would be like a good Facebook plug, for next year's,
Yeah.
what event had, every hot dog in Deerberg's?
Well, the Celebrate Wildwood book, we can put a page in there for the 2019 Celebrate Wildwood. You all ate, you all
Oh,
drank,
we're hungry.
and put some of,
Yeah, one more that I can think of is Milk and Honey had to go back to their store 4 different times.
That's great,
Right.
that is great.
The weather was great. I mean, the crowd was there.
Yeah.
well, it was.
Yeah.
And really, I will tell you, parking isn't horrendous. That is the biggest turnoff for a lot of things. For me, it's when you go to the event and you can't find parking anywhere close. And because of my kids and because of Rich, I had to come and go a couple times. I never had to park 8,000 miles away and walk,
Oh.
and so people were coming and going. It was easy to get to.
There was plenty of parking at the upper level of the garage.
Yeah.
Throughout the night, and even on the side by Stonecrest there.
I know Charlie parked on the upper level. It was a bit of a walk, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Wore off some of the stuff that I ate.
Some of the pork butts?
Yeah. Some of the beer, the wine, yeah. But it was good, and you're right, people were coming and going,
Can I ask you a question, Maria? Just can you refresh my memory how it was set up? I remember the tents with the artists. Where was the food? It was up on the grass last year for the art fair,
Yeah.
and the music was under
Right,
the tent,
yeah.
right? Okay.
Food was on both sides, the tent being in the middle.
Right, okay.
Food served.
Food on both sides, the dining tent with the music inside that, and then there was tables and chairs out along the edge of Main Street so people could.
Right, okay.
Fire pits.
and
Fire pits, beautiful.
Which couldn't stay lit because it
No.
was so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Lighting a candle on the room.
That's it.
And now we're gonna pray for no wind. And no wind, please.
What
Last
about-
year, oh my gosh, that one vendor, his whole tent, remember that? Went over, oh, that was a mess.
Now, are you still gonna do the same books that we did last year with the golden ticket and those were magnificent.
And we also, if you all saw in your Gazette, we mailed the golden ticket
I saw that.
in the Gazette, so
That's cool.
13,000 golden tickets are out there right now, so if everybody shows up. So we'll start.
We're in trouble.
Yeah, and they're only getting drawn if you run up, like, until we hit the max, but maybe there'll be more people spending money.
We've scheduled the performers for Saturday and Sunday. Some of the names should be familiar. Wild Horse Creek Band was the band that played from about 11:30 to 4:30 at the Celebrate Wildwood event on Saturday. Teddy McCready is just really popular. We get just really, really positive feedback. And the others have actually played at the event as well. Just as a reminder, as you know, we do a breakfast for the artists on Sunday morning. That's also when the awards from the judge competition occur. If you come at all, please come to that. That's a fun event. It's a great time to meet the artists and talk with them. Breakfast is excellent from Chris's cake. And so it's just a fun time. And you're all welcome to be visiting.
I have one more question, I'm sorry. You know how you did the signs for the Celebrate Wildwood, which I have mine to bring back up here, because they don't have dates on it, I'm gonna get them back to you. Do you have these for those as well?
Not yet.
But are you gonna do that? Because I'll take 3.
We'll do a short run of them.
Okay.
We ended up doing 24,
36.
36, and we had 3 picked up, so.
Were those mine? There's a lot of these. Well, I had them, I should get like a kudo for that. I had them at each entrance, so, and then Olivia had to pick them up.
And it stopped code enforcement from writing you a ticket too.
Oh, probably. Did you?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I had all signs, I must have had a sign all over, but the rain came and destroyed most of them.
Well, ma'am, we have ones we made per the direction of the commission. You're more than welcome to them next year.
They're the yard, real estate quality, kind of corrugated, plastic,
They're
waterproof,
more
yeah.
Waterproof,
Yeah.
yeah, made for outside.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just had to cut,
I
I
didn't-
had these last year, and I just had to cut those off of the, it was horrible.
Please come. That's what they're there for. Please use them.
So I'll bring
I
them back.
didn't pick up the
next
sticks though. Did someone? I will go around tomorrow.
I didn't see any, so.
I'll have to go out and buy more sticks.
Well, no, the yard signs that we have are on the metal
Oh.
stakes.
year. No, yeah,
Okay.
they're nice.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll have stuff for this?
Yes, we'll get them made for the art festival as well. And then we'll be able to use them each year. So it'll just say like art festival this weekend, town center or whatever.
Okay.
Are designs acceptable to all of you? We'll get the signs made sooner than later.
Yeah, just not with the dates, right, like you did for the other ones.
It'll be much simpler than that, but it'll have like the
Like that?
logo.
Can you do
It'll
like
have
this?
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll it'll probably just say that, and it will say this weekend,
Yeah.
town center, and have the website or something on it, but, yeah. But it'll be the same color theme and all that.
But this is great. And are these gonna be, it'll be posted town center again, like all the banners?
Not
We'll
the-
do that. Or-
You're not?
Yeah. We've never done the sponsorship component for the art festival.
Oh, okay. We had something, no.
And we never done this, pull the street banners for them.
No, we've limited that to celebrate Wildwood.
We'll put the signs up in the, Milk and Honey will put one up for us, and there's a few other places that have them, but like, a lot of places don't have community boards anymore. It's like Schnucks doesn't have it, and, but we'll hang them at City Hall, and we'll hang them in our parks, on our bulletin boards, and Milk and Honey and a few other places that will promote it for us.
And we had it on that electronic sign too, right? On, aren't we gonna advertise the big sign? The electronic sign that has what's going on?
The traffic one that they use?
Yeah.
You put it on Taylor? You're at the corner of Taylor and Main?
You're asked not to do that.
Oh. I don't do it anymore then.
Was it a distraction to drivers or something? What would be?
There was a request from Lafayette High School a year or so ago to change out their sign on Clayton Road to an electronic message board, like many of the other schools outside Wildwood have. And the mayor made a point of saying how much those are inappropriate. We shouldn't allow them in Wildwood, and the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council concurred. And so we got a lot of feedback that you won't let the high school have it, but you put them all over the city advertising events that you do. And so you're asked not to do it.
So how is it inappropriate for the high schools to do it?
Well, the
That's
mayor
a
just
zone.
believed it wasn't in character with Wildwood to have an electronic message board
Just
that
not,
flashes.
not
or-
elegant and pretty.
Yeah.
But that's been like that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
So,
Well, it just shows you how observant I am.
well, we did it for several years. We had something out on Taylor Road at Main Street. We used to just advertise the farmer's market every Saturday.
Right.
Like I say, we just don't, we were asked not to do it.
Because you don't have enough work, right? So are you able to maybe deliver these things to like the local churches in Wildwood? That they could put them in their vestibules or in their,
We can certainly contact the churches, that'd be fine. I'm actually thinking maybe we should do some banners out on maybe Taylor.
oh, you're just trying to make me excited.
No, just, general banners, it doesn't have to be any sponsorships.
Yeah.
Just put some
The
color.
date, the date, and the event.
Yeah. I mean,
That actually
and those
would be
colors are
really nice,
Yeah,
really nice, and actually look a lot better than the electronic sign.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
if there's no objection, maybe we'll spend a little extra on that, just to kind of make Taylor Road and part of Main Street look a little better.
How are we
Yep.
doing with the budget?
That's a darn good question. I've been on jury duty, so I didn't have time to prepare
I hope it was a good case.
a young man on possession of heroin. October, you'll know I can tell you it was an expensive event. I spent most of the week before Celebrate Wildwood signing invoices, it seemed. That was the only thing I seemed to do. But I'll let y'all know.
Okay.
But we also have the unexpected with the interpreters.
What was unexpected?
The sign language interpreters.
Oh, yeah.
So that was an expensive add-on at the very last minute.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they were saying, but they were awesome.
I sure seem to enjoy it, that's for
Well,
sure.
and we reached out to community college, because the community college, through their deaf studies program, does that, they'll do the barbecue bash. But they weren't, it's too early in the school year and they weren't certified yet to provide it, but they are free. So we had to go to a company that was not free, but we will be reaching out tomorrow to the community college about the art festival, so, because it was an awesome service.
Yes, it really was.
So I guess I'll call Father Stoltz up at St. Albans and see if we can put some signs out there. And
That'd be great.
I'm sure he's gonna go, we should put something in the bulletin, but, you know.
Well, if they would, that,
Tell them I
we
said
could
hi.
pay, whatever that cost is, I can't imagine. it
Okay,
being too-
I will ask them.
We also are preparing a brief press release, only a paragraph or something, but so we can get it in Post-Dispatch and the West News Magazine, and we'll send it to all the news and radio outlets. But maybe if we share that with all of you, you all could share it, and
Definitely.
if, with your churches and your other organizations, and if anyone wants posters, we'll have them printed, and we're getting postcards, and y'all could get those to your own churches and places,
Yeah, I mean, I
congregation
think,
places.
yeah, because there's a bunch of them in Wildwood, and I'm just trying to think of, not free, but, what, get the most bang for your buck. So,
Like I say, we'll go ahead and, if you all like the general design and the color palette, we'll go ahead and we'll get everything printed up as soon as possible, so we can get it out and get it started. And we'll do some banners on Taylor Road if there's no objection.
I like it. In fact, I love it.
Thank you.
Is that it, Chair?
Okay, sorry, attention was diverted. Is there anything else? And then if not, meeting adjourned, do I hear a motion? And seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
And we have one more
Thank you.
meeting before the event.
Right.
The first Wednesday in October.
And Pat Ward said she would chair that. I will be sailing down the Rhine.
Oh, boy.